Thanks for sticking with us here on Adelante Chicago. Nearly a year after the first bus arrived in Chicago, migrants who were hoping to find a better life here in the U.S. are struggling to find jobs and permanent housing. One of the organizations that has been able to help is known as the Resurrection Project. And joining us now to talk through some of the efforts that are underway right now is Erendira Rendon with Resurrection Project. Thank you for coming in. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's talk about where things stand right now, because I mentioned that there are, thousands of migrants who have been looking for permanent housing, and the truth of the matter is that it's not that simple. So talk about where you're at right now.
Yeah, so what we've seen, right, is more than 10,000 new migrants arriving in Chicago for about a year now. We've seen an increase in general for a little bit, but I think the busing situation definitely increased that number. It's a challenge when folks arrive, but when folks have to find apartments, folks have to be able to figure out how to work and how to make a living, and even transportation and how to get around the city. And then some more complex issues around being able to sign a lease, being able to find an attorney, to have a legal screening and a consultation, and then see if you have a case that you can present maybe for asylum, for instance. So I think what we're seeing is that, yes, the challenges are large, and that folks need everything from food and shelter to more complex needs as well.
We recently here at WGN did a 30-minute special sort of highlighting some of the issues that migrants are facing here in Illinois. And one of the things that came up is this idea of obtaining a work permit. Many of them have to wait for months, in some cases a year, to get a work permit and be able to sort of fend for themselves and get a job and rent a home. Is there an effort being carried out right now in Illinois to make sure that these folks can get access to a work permit a lot quicker?
Yeah, the state and the city both do have legal services programs. We are the lead agency for the state program, but it's actually about 10 organizations that are working together to be able to do legal screenings, legal orientations, assist people in filling out their asylum applications. But it is very complex. Not everybody qualifies for asylum, for instance. And even if you do get to the point where you apply for asylum, you have to wait another 6 months before you can apply for your work permit. So it's a complex process. But there's 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. and folks, figure out ways to be able to work and to be able to, rent apartments and buy a home. My parents are, both undocumented and bought their homes back in early 1990. And so it's possible. It's just a challenge. And it takes organizations to make sure that we have the infrastructure to do that work, but it also takes community and doing some of the immigrant education work around that.
I know that a lot of this falls on the federal level, right? That's where you would pull different strings to make sure that some of these things are carried out. But is there anything that can be done on a state level that maybe communities should be pushing for that might make it a little bit easier?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need the federal government to pass comprehensive immigration reform, right? There's new immigrants, and there's 11 million undocumented immigrants who need a fix to our immigration system, need to be able to get work permits quickly, need to be able to get their residency better. And the state, is doing good work around making sure that organizations are able to give legal services, and the city as well. The state is also working with the city to make sure that we're finding housing and trying to do some rental assistance. But really, that's a federal issue, is in making sure that we are advocating for all immigrants for immigration reform. And, all the organizations continue to advocate at the federal level as well.
The other side of this is healthcare. And recently we saw sort of an obstacle in the state of Illinois where a lot of these new migrants are having a difficult time getting access to healthcare. Explain what's going on right now and where we move from here.
Yeah, so there is for folks that are seeking asylum, there's a specific program that continues to be open for folks to enroll. So that generally is new migrants or folks that are victims of crime. What we saw was a pause in enrollment for what's called the Health Benefit for Immigrant Adults program. So that's for any immigrant that doesn't qualify for the other for federal benefits, and that is closed now between folks that are under the age of 64, and then everybody everybody who's currently in the program is facing some more, co-pays, and so those are becoming challenges, and we have been trying, working to try to address those and make sure that we can make the program whole again.
All right, the Resurrection Project working to help really the many migrant and immigrant communities here in the Chicago area. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And if folks want more information, there's the address on your screen, resurrectionproject.org.